All right, everybody, back with another one. Today, we're going to take a look at a video that's pretty funny. It's a guy who also has a podcast, I think, and he tours a prop studio, and it's going to kind of play on a topic that we've talked about in the past, how many influencers, I think, are kind of copying the same model as to what Hollywood has done for decades. And that's why I kind of look at YouTube as though it's the new Hollywood, and I definitely see a lot of similarities there. But just in terms of like the way people do things. But the main thing is, I think that YouTubers and a lot of the influencers today, they have sort of copied the some of the models that have worked for Hollywood for so long, and they've adapted them to this medium. So we're going to take a look at this guy's tour of the facility and just kind of talk about that and talk about how it relates to what the influencers are doing today, because I think we're headed into a world where, and I've said this many times on the podcast, with so many people lying, or just not being honest, and it's different when Hollywood does it, just because of the fact that when they put out a piece of content, like a movie, a feature film, or a television show or something, you know you're being sold a fake, fictitious product. So immediately, it's clear that you're being not lied to, but what you're being presented is not real. So it's okay because we willingly accept it and watch it, knowing that going into that, what influencers are doing today is, I wouldn't really call it deceptive, but because I do understand the business element of it, I do understand that, in order to make things seem real or to enhance the content, the quality of the content, sometimes you do have to, add a little flavor, just add some stuff that will engage the audience. And I understand, I get that. I just have a plain black backdrop in the background, and I keep it simple because I kind of want to just, make these videos about the topics, about what we're talking about. And, there's a possibility that down the road I might spruce up the background. I might make the studio look a lot better and add some, decorative things just to enhance it and make it more watchable. So I'm not against that stuff. I'm not against set dressing and things like that. But there's a difference between doing that from a business standpoint and then what some of these influencers are doing today, where they're intentionally deceiving their audiences with fake things that are not real in hopes to get more followers and things like that. An example would be what we're going to take a look at today. And not with everything, because I think this is a tour of a prop department that mostly works with like movie studios, but some influencers do use these items today. But an example besides that might be, sometimes you'll see these influencers that are shooting a podcast or something in a studio in a set that looks like, really cool place. And your immediate thought is that's their studio, they own it, or they're shooting that in a room that they have in their beautiful home and they have people come to them and that's their studio, like having a home office. And for many, that's true. But for some, they're going and renting a studio, or they're renting a house out to do a shoot, or they're renting, a studio in a big building that has a bunch of studios in it, and there's many content creators in the same building, all shooting their podcasts or whatever in their individual studio rooms. So, and I have experience with this because there are places that exist, and I've done this in the past, but and not for podcasting, but there are things that exist where you can go and you can rent all different types of studios, all different types of spaces with different functionalities. It could be a huge vacant open warehouse to film a full, production and put up green screens and everything. And then it could be just an office that's already pre-designed and it's set up like a set, the couches and the chairs and all that stuff and the plants in the background. And, it's a preset stage, sort of. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not the deceptive part. I'm just saying that people do this. The deceptive part comes in when it contradicts what your content claims to be about. And I saw one thing in a clip of this video. I didn't see the full video, but I did see one thing that caught my eye, which made me want to, do this for this episode. And we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But this type of stuff that we're going to see does happen. It does happen with influencers online. It could be the same thing as people who, it could be like a realtor who's pretending that they have a listing on the market and they're trying to get people to think that they do a lot of big homes and they sell a lot of big homes, and they could be there hosting a open house, but they're hosting it so they're likely a buyer's agent looking for buyers. That's why they're hosting it. And the seller's agent is the one that listed it. They're not even there. And a lot of people don't know this. This is what happens most times is the open house is hosted by people who are looking to, get leads for buyers for that home, and then they represent them. But the seller's agent, many times, not always, but many times, doesn't even do the open house because they were focusing on, listing it and getting it out there to their contacts, and they're not interested in having a whole day where they sit there and they, speak to people that could potentially be buyers because it doesn't really benefit them. They're the seller's agent. So, it could be somebody who is online, as a real estate agent, and they're showing a mansion that's beautiful and they're saying, got this listing and blah, 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 come down, check it out. And you will think, wow, this person has that listing. That's $1 million listing or $2 million listing. And, their commission check is going to be huge. And, they must be a big time real estate agent. When in actuality, they're actually just a buyer's agent that has no affiliation with the listing other than they're trying to procure a buyer for that listing. And then if they do, then they get something out of the deal. But this happens in so many different industries. It's not just real estate. It's something we're going to take a look at today. But fitness industry and many other industries as well. It even happens in the political industry, not so much props, but just a lot of fakeness with what people are putting online versus what they're actually doing in the videos or what they're doing in their personal life that contradicts what they preach. They're not actually practicing what they preach. So long-winded, but I want to take a look at this video. I want to dive into this now and just see some of the funny props and things that are out there that the average person might not realize unless you're in the industry in entertainment or online media. You might not realize there are props for everything, and you'd be surprised how many things in a background are fake. And this happens in shows and movies, especially because a lot of times they build those sets. So you might think you're looking at somebody who's in an apartment and they just rented out that person's apartment for this movie and it had all kinds of stuff in it, and that's what they used. No, they'll furnish everything and put all kinds of props and stuff up in the background. So pretty much everything you see in a background in any movie or TV show is intentionally put there. But influencers have learned this and they're doing this now too. So it's interesting. But we're going to take a look at this video, jump into it, and then maybe talk a little bit more about it.
I mean, they even have fake horses. I think Lil Wayne took it and hung it up in his pad. It looks real, bro. This is Maverick. So, like, who wore this?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise wore this? This looks real. He looks like he has a small head, man.
Alright, so we'll get some water first.
Thank you. Hi, how you doing? Oh, thank you so much. Whoa, fancy.
This is corner store.
All fake.
All fake. We own the rights to all of them. So like just random corn dog, cereal and stuff. And again, it's because of the clearance side of it. So you don't have to go to Apple Jacks if you use that and have two lawyers email back and forth a couple of times, and that costs $800. When you just buy a $50 box, we do all the clearance up front, and you're good to go.
Lucky Charms, Crunchy Loof. Oh, Loot. Sorry. Pop-Tarts.
I switched from due dates to due dates, and it made me go from weeks behind to weeks ahead of my deadlines. You see, I used to just bed rot all day getting nothing done. And you know that feeling of anxiety?
Why can't they just go to the store and just print some stuff out of their Epson printer?
They can, but but like when you're doing an episodic or something, and you're prepping each episode, there's every single thing that comes in front of camera.
Yeah,
like you're sourcing for the most part. So that adds up quick. How many things are you then having to make yourself or edit or do this or do that, and like scale that up to 1,000 things per episode coming in front of camera? That takes a lot of time.
That makes sense. Girl Scout cookies, watch out. Got your mint chocolate chip right there. What about a pack of smokes?
Crazy. So that's my last name because we can clear it,
Bilson?
Yeah.
You made your own cigarettes, bro?
Yeah.
I used to smoke, man. This feels good.
I do. And this is kind of an extension of that, more catered towards like set decorators.
Oh, wow.
So this is all cleared artwork and paperwork and stuff.
Oh.
So if you're, you know, you got like your angsty teenage boy's bedroom and it's just a bunch of random like, you know, bands and skateboard stuff.
Did you know, just FYI, I was in a Lil Wayne video.
That's pretty cool.
You want to see?
Yeah.
Since we're in this world of set decoration and everything, he worked on this music video, No Love, with Eminem. And so the kid had a skateboard, was a skater, same thing with the room and everything. They needed a kid, they needed like a skateboard wall. I'm not getting the best reception in here. I don't know if you guys need to up your Wi-Fi. See the kid's in his room. Look at this.
Wow.
Got the chocolate ad right there. That's a front board nollie back heel out. This was an ad in a magazine, but since they needed it for the video, I asked Chocolate, I was like, hey, will you blow that up for me? So they made a poster. I think Lil Wayne took it and hung it up in his pad.
So then this is just like our main warehouse. So all of these carts are orders that are in process. We got a whole wall of those boys.
Do you?
Yeah. So we make most of these in-house too. There's usually a whole boatload of them.
Wow. This is scary.
All of those boys.
Do you?
Yeah. So then this is just like our main warehouse. So all of these carts are orders that are in process. We got a whole wall of those boys.
Do you?
Yeah. So we make
So something I
most of
wanted
these.
you to take note of. Look at all the uniforms on the wall. It looks like a bunch of construction stuff. This is part of the prop industry. Is they even make uniforms for different trades. And people can rent the uniform or buy the uniform if they're not even in that trade. And I'm not saying that happens a lot in the influencer world, but I would not be surprised if a handful of people who were claiming to be something specific, because it's not a big deal if work in construction, you have your construction vest and you're a construction influencer. But some people who are like nurses or doctors or, people in a specific trade that there's like an industry in the influencer realm for those careers. I would not be surprised if there were people who were pretending to be, have that background and actually just, rented or bought a costume, a uniform for that, so that they could build a persona online. So I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it was. And the fact that there's costumes as part of the props department, and that influencers could have access to it just like people in Hollywood do, would not surprise me today, because we're moving, like I said, into a very fake world. AI. I see AI videos constantly now and I'm sure you have seen them as well, that float around the internet. People making fake AI videos of news reporters, and it turns out they're not actual news reporters reporting on the news. They're AI, or there's like a crowd of people and they're arguing, and then turns out the whole scene's AI. And it really does kind of show you the world that we're headed into, where you take, you can make movies very differently. If you wanted to put fake background actors in the background, save money on the cost of background actors, or, make a entirely fake set instead of having to, set up green screens and all that stuff. It definitely is changing the, entertainment industry in many regards for Hollywood, for movies and television. And I don't know if all that will definitely work out, because there are unions for entertainers, actors, and all different entertainers in that industry. So they will probably fight it pretty hard for job security. But it's those rules don't apply for social media. So I would not be surprised if there's a lot of AI going on in the near future with influencers that are going to use it to further fake some of the stuff that they're doing in order to continue to grow their audiences and be able to like manufacture a whole fake world for fame and fortune, I guess.
In-house too. There's usually a whole boatload of them.
Wow. This is scary.
But yeah, they'll use these for like,
Yeah, I don't like this area.
obviously for stunts, but also for crowds because it's a lot cheaper.
Oh, they
Like
just
if you're
throw
doing
some
like a war scene and then the aftermath, you're walking through, there's a bunch of dead bodies.
Yes.
Instead of putting like 200 background in wardrobe, hair and makeup, laying them down, having to make them go to the bathroom, feed them, do all that.
Right.
You just dress these dudes, lay them down, and then if it's 3 days of coverage for the scene, you just leave them there overnight.
Dummies.
Right.
Yeah.
So like one of these is real,
Okay.
and then the others are rubbers. The others are rubbers.
You want me to choose which one's real?
Pick it, dude.
I'm not familiar with this brand, to be honest, but I think this one's real.
Nope.
Oh, actually? Yeah. Wow. So if there was a scene where I was like, stab you with the...
Yeah, and some of the kits too, they'll have like a real one, a fake one, and then a cut one with an appliance. So you can like shoot the action of that, and then the next coverage shot, you got it like sticking out, blood on the shirt, and it looks real.
Wow, okay. Look how real that looks. Deville, ready? Ready? It's not gonna hurt, bro. Everything looks so real. So people come in here and like go like, oh, I need they shop.
Yeah.
Right. They'll be like, oh, this is perfect for our Western that we're doing. Right.
So this is our kind of little like Indiana Jones Western section.
Wow.
We've got 11 acres and 13,000 square feet out in Lancaster with more of this kind of stuff.
No way. The boom. Has some of the stuff been in like crazy, like big time movies?
All of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, those are cows.
And some of this is just real stuff, like it's just a shovel and
I think that's like
pick.
a big misconception with props is like most of it's real.
Right.
You know, it's real things.
Like this is a real pick.
But then like it gets more proppy if there's a scene where this gets like whacked on somebody's head and we have to make a rubber one, then that's like more traditionally what you think of as a prop.
But otherwise, like right there, you use a real hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real hoes.
I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about the I mean, they even have fake horses.
Oh, nice. You know, that's like light as a.
So this is the part that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Something that I think has been talked about a lot on the internet over the years with the fitness industry having and people being questioned for having fake weights. Now, this goes back a long time ago before the fitness industry had been online. There have been, shows and movies where they had workout scenes and they would use fake weights, and that's basically where fake weights came from, was for props for movies and television and entertainment. And then the fitness industry at some point, I don't know who originally did this, but they started using fake weights, fake, plates for the barbell, dumbbells, and whatever for, I guess they got the idea from Hollywood to, use it to make people think they were lifting more than they actually were for their content. And now you sometimes see fitness influencers joke about how, if they're working out together, let's say they're doing like a collaboration, you'll see, one guy check the weights on the other guy and say, I was just making sure they weren't fake. Or, somebody will say, oh yeah, about to do, 350 and none of these are fake. You can hear them, clink, clink, and they'll hit the weight. And now they almost have to like verify with their audience that the weights are real because fake weights do exist. And it's funny, there was a show long ago in the 90s and early 2000s, not that long, but for the younger Gen Z people, they would never even know this show. It's called King of Queens, and it was with Kevin James, who, played this great character. Actually, one of the best sitcoms to ever be made, in my opinion, in terms of the writing and the characters and how it all, tied in together. Definitely one of the best sitcoms ever. If you ever get a chance to watch it, check it out. But there was an episode where the lead character was Kevin James. He was, training with his brother or cousin or whatever he plays in the show, and he was trying to get him in shape again because he had been out of shape, and he wanted to get in shape so that he could, I think it was try out for semi-pro football team or something like that again to, see if he still had it. And his cousin ended up putting fake plates on the barbell, and he was thinking that he was hitting these numbers that he wasn't when he was benching. He was, his cousin was like lifting the plates up like they were nothing. And then his wife caught him doing that and freaked out, and then he freaked out, and then he lost motivation. It was a pretty funny scene. But I always think of that when I think about fake plates because that was one of the first times I think I ever realized that you could make fake plates or that they existed. But yeah, Hollywood's been using them for a long time. It's props for entertainment, for movies and television. And I guess at some point the fitness industry has, word on the street is that they've adopted this and maybe put fake plates on some of their stuff. So there are legitimate influencers that I think definitely use real weights for everything, and obviously the people who are actual pro bodybuilders, because that would just hurt them winning any competitions. But I think there are definitely some of them out there that they definitely are in great shape, but they might seem like they lift more than they actually do. And cameras are deceiving when you're in good shape. It actually makes you look bigger than you are in real life. So, maybe there's some of that going on too.
Feather.
Right,
But
right.
there's like that thing in our world to where, you'll notice like an empty coffee cup and someone's just like, man, it looks fake. Or
Yeah.
they pick up a big bag of like $10 million and they just carry it like nothing.
Right.
So we want some like actual weight in. So these 80s are like actually like 15s.
Really? Let me see. Oh, shit. Oh, god damn.
So you get a little bit of struggle. They're real popular with like the TikTok like fitness influencers.
Shut the fuck. Are you
For
serious?
real? Yeah.
Everything's fake.
Nothing's real.
Everything's fake.
Trust anything on
Workouts, fake workouts. This is what I have at home, to be honest. Oh.
And I want to see if like, maybe we could, if people want to put in the comments or whatever, see if we could come up with like some sort of theme or something where we see if we could spot the fake weights in fitness influencers videos because, probably you could try and figure out based on how they're lifting it, how much struggle they're putting in. Is it over exaggerated? Are they lifting things? Are they lifting the weights a little bit too easy, compared to something else? But look at what he just said. 80-pound dumbbells are actually only 15 pounds, but they purposely put a little weight in there to give them a little resistance. That way, when you lift it up, you don't lift it up and throw 80 pounds up in the air like it weighs nothing, because that would be a dead giveaway. So it's a smart strategy, but that's how good they are with these props and things like that, is that they know how to make it seem about as real as possible without actually being real, and it's funny, but he even admitted that fitness influencers love that stuff and they are, I guess, allegedly renting it from his company.
So here we go. So we're coming into the action sports area. Surfing. Let's see what these guys have for skateboarding, huh?
Yeah, it's a sponsored section. So
Dude, I always wanted one of these, bro. It's a lifeguard thing from Baywatch. Yeah, from Baywatch. I always wanted one. I was a big fan of Baywatch. Actually, I was in a Baywatch episode.
You were?
Yeah, I was a junior lifeguard. Let me see if they have my board here.
I think it's about 98% Powell.
98%. Dude, goddamn, Powell has
Got a stronghold.
they got
on
a stronghold,
on the
bro.
film industry.
Even the little guys. Look. Where do you guys get this? You sourced it, right?
Sourced
From
it,
like,
yeah.
I mean, the skateboard museum has a bunch of these.
They do.
You could probably get for. I kickflipped one of these, DeVille.
Did you?
Okay, so you guys got a decent skate. It's decent.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say. If you had some more variety, like chocolate or girl or something like that, I'd give you more of a higher
If they
grade.
sent us some, we'd put them in. But
Okay, well, take note. I got a song I could play if you want.
rip it.
Yeah. Okay, ready? Nope. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Go ahead, sing it. That's all I know, though. I only know the beginning. Yeah.
It's a little dummy factory, so we make all our dummies in house.
You said Dunny Factory?
Dummy.
Oh, Dummy.
Yeah.
Thought the Dunnies were here.
So just like that comes out of a mold.
Sway, that looks like your foot.
It actually kind of does.
I hate feet, to be honest. I'm not a big foot person.
See, but yeah, we got to change stuff on it. So it says like motion picture use only.
Right.
And PMM we trust.
Yeah.
We don't make fake money anymore. We used to. But Rush Hour 2, we got in trouble. We made like $1 billion worth of money for that casino scene where they blow it up. And they had a bunch of extras down below that, you know, they're getting paid $60 a day. And all this really good money starts raining down, which we had approval for from the Secret Service. But then it started passing in a bunch of states, like a week after, like all over the place. So then they came and took all of our printing materials. And the new director of the Secret Service interpreted the law differently than the previous guy because there was a problem with it. So, we outsource this stuff now, so the liability is on somebody else. We don't deal with printing it. But
interesting. DeVille, here's one with your picture on it, bro. This is I love this, bro. This is probably, I swear to God, this is what these rappers used, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's a company called moviemoney.com or something.
Yeah.
And it's really, really good quality stuff. And they're 99% of what they sell to is rappers.
This is what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got hell of stacks, son. What? Should I start flexing?
I think so.
Should I start pretending like I'm just stupid rich? And then I jump in my Pinto. Wait a minute. Hold on. This one's real. Yes.
Nice.
I got it. 0.9999 fine gold.
Just flex those, not the money.
This is where all the Fort Knox went.
Right?
Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny how like they even have fake tools, and you'd be surprised like how many things could be fake. And he did say some of the stuff is real, but some stuff is also fake. But the money thing is funny. And this is a big thing with the music industry that I think a lot of, young people are being influenced by certain celebrities, especially in the music industry, especially with rap culture, where they have a bunch of money in their videos and stuff, and they're selling this idea, they have like a nice sports car or a couple of different sports cars and a bunch of beautiful women, and they'll sell the audience, especially young, impressionable people, that these people are rich, they have all this stuff, and it's pretty ridiculous for especially a lot of the newer ones getting into the industry because they're making that content in hopes to, let's say it's like their first album or whatever. They're making that content where they're at the beginning of their, career and they probably don't have that much money. They're making the content, they're trying to get the video to blow up and they're trying to get, maybe a record deal or something like that, or maybe they already have one and they're trying for it to do well so that they get signed and they stay on and stuff like that. And, a lot of the younger people are thinking, oh, this guy's rich or this person, look at the life they live. They have the cars, the money, the women, and it's all fake for the video, First of all, rich people don't keep like, unless you're worth a ton of money, a couple hundred million or a billion or whatever, you don't keep like, I don't know, like 50 million in cash in the bank. Like nobody does that because rich people are smart. They know to take their money and invest it to where it continues to produce, continues to grow. So they have it tied up in investments. They don't have cash sitting in the bank. And, maybe the less educated financially people who are in the entertainment industry, maybe they do keep all their cash in the bank or a good portion of it. But it's not that common to be able to just go to the bank and also like think about it. You're gonna go to the bank, you're gonna take out $1 million in cash for a video in hopes that everybody that was on set, didn't take any of the money and then gave it all back to you before the end of the thing. He just said that they were shooting Rush Hour 2, and a great movie, by the way, if you ever get a chance to see the Rush Hour series. And he they printed a bunch of money. He said like $1 billion in fake money for the casino scene, which it was a big scene. There was a bunch of money everywhere, and there was money like the whole thing was like they were embezzling money, so that's why they needed a ton of it. And they printed it, but it was real, pretty much as real looking as it can get. And some of the background actors were stealing it and taking it with them, and then actually trying to spend it in real life, like at wherever they were going. And they said that the Secret Service found it crossing the money crossing state lines. So it went from that movie set to other states where these actors might have lived or been traveling to, and they were actually spending the fake money. That's how real it looked. Um, but yeah, you'd be surprised. Like I guess a lot of people think that, and maybe not a lot of people, mostly probably just young people, are, and even if they're not thinking about it subconsciously, maybe they are, that these people who have money in these videos, that it's real money. It's fake money. 99% of the time it is, unless it's a small amount. I don't know. But yeah, I've even been on sets where I've seen and held the fake money. And it does the newer ones today say Motion Picture Association of America, something like that. It'll be like a somebody's face and it's not actual president, or whatever it is. But it looks pretty real from a distance, but up close you can tell it's fake. And so yeah, that's another big prop that influencers might even use. Who knows? Like sometimes you see these influencers where they'll try and show off their wallet and show off what cash they have stacked in their pocket. And sometimes people will say, oh, it's just a bunch of singles and then 100 or two wrapped around it, and they'll fan it out and show. And I would not be surprised if some of that was prop money that they have specifically for that video. So just, be careful what you believe on the internet. It's a very fake place today.
Strong. Oh, this is a Maui Wowie. This is
I was looking for that one.
Jesus
Oh my-
Christ.
Might have to censor.
We got to keep DeVille out of this section, bro. This is and alcohol on their side. Oh
Yeah,
my
I
God,
caught him drinking.
that's double. That's just you start over here, and DeVille's gonna end up over here. Ooh, look at this shit, bro. Look at some brooches. What do you guys do? Because
Again, another thing that he showed wasn't totally on camera, but you could see that there was like fake drugs, and they even make fake drugs that look as real as possible. Obviously, for certain movies where they have people doing drugs, but that's another thing where I would not be surprised if influencers were finding some way to work that into the rotation as well.
I imagine you guys do everything. You guys take inventory and all that stuff, but I'm sure shit goes missing.
Yeah.
All the time. Are you? What's your security like?
There's cameras everywhere.
Is there?
Yeah. I already
Shit.
clocked the 3 things you put in your pocket.
Is it? You got, hey, don't check my pockets on the way out, man. This looks real.
Eat it.
So this is kind of a little period room.
It smells it too.
Old.
It smells.
Smells
It
old.
smells old. How old are these peanuts?
Try one.
No.
Oh, those are teeth?
Oh,
no,
they're
that's corn.
teeth. Oh. Fuck.
I rented my teeth out.
What?
Yeah, I got my wisdom teeth out a couple of years ago and had them. I kept them because, obviously. And they're in a Ziploc bag in my backpack. And we had a client that needed to build like a serial killer trophy box with a bunch of teeth.
Dexter.
So it was a different show,
Oh.
but I was like, I got some teeth. And they molded them and made a whole bunch, painted some like gold fillings, silver fillings, and had a
No
whole
way.
ass box of fake teeth.
So
based
you're
off my
watching the
teeth.
movie, you're like, those are my
Off my
teeth. Damn, that's sick. If you ever need any body part of mine, like just let me know. I'm down.
Will do.
I can't beat that hog that was up there, but I can come close for when you're at the Grand Old Opry.
I can't think that thin.
Like, oh, dude, you do have a
1000.
VX.
There you go.
We had the other one. We had the Century Optics depth lens on it. I think that one got like lost on set by someone savvy, and they just paid the fee and came up with it.
So they even have prop film equipment for people filming that they're filming. They're actually filming, and obviously, this would be like for a movie where there's like a reporter and they're shooting, maybe like Twister or something, and they're getting the storm on camera and they need to see the cameras in the frame. But I would not be surprised if influencers are doing that too, adding extra cameras to make it seem like they're, got a bigger production than they have or whatever, other film stuff that they could add to the scene and make it seem like they got more going on than they do. But maybe some of them are dummy cameras or dummy equipment, whatever, who knows?
Wow. Sorry. They probably filmed I Love Lucy on some of these things, right? Oh, you got the police shields? Crazy, dude. I feel like this wouldn't do shit. Is this fake or real?
I mean, it's not ballistic, but
I was about to go into a riot situation with that. I would not be comfortable.
that one's.
Oh, this one is, yeah. There we go. Okay. That one's more like you're going into like a kid's playground where they're a little unruly, Don't get excited, DeVille. This is the S&M section, okay?
Some of these are rigged.
Okay. All right, sir. You're under arrest. Ow. That hurt. That is so bulk foods. Lactose.
Yeah, so that one looks more like accurate on camera, but
Okay.
again, if you're lactose intolerant or vegan,
Right.
then you're gonna want to use that.
So if I'm lactose intolerant and I'm sniffing
it's
this
gonna hit.
out the rear,
I
like
mean,
you're gonna get the farts and the
I'd imagine.
okay, and then this is in
Cigarettes. So those are
herbal.
so no tobacco, and then all the different colors are different, like filter types.
Oh really?
So if you're going for like a menthol look,
How are these, dude?
it tastes kind of like you're sitting on top of a campfire, and that
Really?
smoke's going in.
Oh,
So they're not good.
They're not good. Okay, I was gonna say maybe we could all go out and share one, if you like in the parking lot or something. Bags so they don't make noise.
Silent bags.
So like if you go to like Whole Foods or something, you're gonna have the bag. It's gonna make a lot of crinkling noise, but this one
If
doesn't.
you're doing dialogue, it messes
Right.
it all up.
For this,
Tom Cruise.
what? I can't even get it on, man. Oh my god, I can't even hear. It's a replica.
Yeah, the real ones are in Chatsworth.
Oh, I can't even get it. The game a little.
Quiet tissue paper back there.
Jewelry not so quiet. Still can hear it a
it's
little
loud-
bit.
loud jewel-
Look that real.
No,
You might want to like
Yeah.
up the game a little bit.
It's one of the Maverick helmets.
This is Maverick. So like, who wore this?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise wore this.
You're much taller than me.
He looks like he has a small ass head, man. He does have a small head, bro. I can't even get it on, man. Oh my god, I can't even hear anything.
What? He said
What?
Shield and hammer?
Thank you.
Oh.
Do I look like Tom Cruise?
Sure.
I'll take that as a no. I'll take that as a no.
I'll put the hammer here.
This is crazy, dude. This is an actual in the movie.
That one's a replica we did.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
replica.
the real ones are in Chatsworth.
Oh, okay. But still, this is like exactly what he used.
1-to-1. For the real metal ones, we made like probably 30 different versions too.
Oh,
I think in
really?
total, we made over 1,000 of them for the movies. Because there's rubber ones, there's the metal ones that are brand new, there's the distressed ones, like the battle worn ones, and then there's like different levels of stunt rubbers for each one of those.
It's amazing what you guys can make.
Yeah.
It's
And then
amazing.
one of
This
the
is
hammers.
Thor's hammer?
Can you get? Oh, you can't get it.
No, I can get it.
Oh.
Damn. In the movie. So this is heavy as fuck.
Mhm.
He's carrying around this?
No.
No.
No, we're doing lighter rubber versions for most
You
ones.
have this much lighter.
Yeah.
Oh, you've held Thor's hammer before?
A different one.
Oh, yeah? Can't believe all the shit you guys do here, man. It's fucking wild, bro. Like I said, anytime you need any type of body part from me, man, you
Good to-
holler.
good to
Yeah,
know.
I'm here for you guys.
Yeah, it's good to know.
All right, so there you have it. That guy's tour of a prop studio Yes, it is for a lot of big Hollywood movies. His thing is Chris Roberts. That's his podcast channel or YouTube channel, whatever. I just, shout out to him because that was a pretty cool video. I'm glad that we got to see somebody take a tour inside one of those studios, warehouses, and take a look at that stuff. But yeah, it's funny. That's the type of stuff that you do see a lot of on movie sets, and even some of the big movies that they've done, the Marvel movies, Tom Cruise, Top Gun movie, they do some big stuff, obviously, but he even said it, maybe jokingly, but it sounded like he was serious that influencers actually do rent some stuff from him. So I would not be surprised if influencers, especially in these areas of the country that are near these things, if you're in LA or if you're in, maybe Atlanta where there's big studios over there or New York are renting some of these props and equipment for their um, in Instagram or YouTube or whatever they got going on. Yeah, we're heading into a fake world, and I just think it's good to kind of call out some of this stuff because it helps people understand that not everything that they see is real, and especially with, like I said, AI, the way that it's advancing, and I'm not afraid. I don't think AI is actually taking over the world the way that we think it is. I think it's going to probably replace some of the old ways we've done things with administrative stuff in business and the entertainment industry. I actually think the entertainment industry might impact that industry the most because most of what AI is probably going to be used for is content creation, and it might even affect the influencer game as well. I don't really see it affecting or impacting in a negative way the average worker, the blue collar worker, corporate jobs that, are in like management and things like that. I see it as making administrative stuff and maybe even like, other departments like accounting and things like that probably a hell of a lot easier to be able to, template things quickly, copy entire formats and duplicate that or things of that nature. I definitely see AI helping in the business world a lot, but I actually think it's going to impact, like I said, the entertainment world the most. And I think most of what people are probably going to, create with it is things like, that videos, like I said in the past, in this video of, fake news reporters and fake crowds of people and, you know, thumbnails like I do and things like that. It's just easier and quicker to get pretty decent quality stuff. And it does seem to be getting better each year. But yeah, that's just good for the average person to see that who is not thinking. And when I say average, I just mean people who are not in the entertainment world or always thinking about these kind of things. They're just sort of mindlessly scrolling through social media and just seeing stuff. It's also too, I noticed that a lot of people get angry and they argue and they fight and they get upset and they get all emotional about a lot of the stuff that they see online, and they're not realizing that a good portion of it is fake or partially fake, and it's actually causing people to have disagreements or arguments or fights, even with friends and family, and they're fighting over something that's not real or not totally true. So just be careful, just be aware what you watch and see on the internet, and don't let it change you or get in your mind or become a part of your identity. Instead, just take it in, observe it, and go on with your life. But yeah, there's a lot of fake stuff out there, and this was a good video to see that some of the props that are out there are, everyday items, cans of soup and cereal boxes and things like that could totally be used. So next time you're looking at, content online, take a look at the background, take a look at the foreground, take a look at, what some of the people are, have in their environment, some of the influencers, and just see if, maybe you could spot some fake stuff. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. It helps the channel to continue to grow, which it's doing great. And we're definitely, like I said in the previous videos, moving towards interviewing guests soon. So if there is a guest in particular you'd like to see on the show, you could either put it in the comments of this video or other videos, or DM me personally, let me know, and I will see if they're a fit for the channel, and we'll try and get them on. But don't forget to, do all that stuff, and also stay for the ad at the end of the video. It, has my children's book that's on sale now, our apparel shop, and some other stuff that we got going on. But that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next one. All right, everybody, I just want to take a moment to promote my children's book. This is Little Boy Full of Love. That's me on the back. And this is a little sneak peek on the inside. It's a great book. It's a children's book. I actually wrote this for my son, and it's available right now on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Indigo, Bookshop.org, and a lot of other online platforms. But more importantly to me, it's actually available in a lot of bookstores throughout the country. You can find out which ones are closest to you on my Instagram page. You know, we highly recommend that you shop local, buy from a local bookstore. So if you are looking to, you know, get a children's book for you or anybody you know, or even with the holidays coming up, it's a great time to, you know, buy a children's book as a gift. You know, definitely get it from a bookstore that's local to you. But if you absolutely can't get it from one of the bookstores that are currently carrying it right now, and we're in about 15 or 16 different states across the country, so it may actually be in your state, and it could even be local to you. But if you can't get it from the physical bookstore, check out our Amazon storefront. The book's available on there right now. And like I said, with the holidays coming up, you may want to do your Christmas or Hanukkah or holiday shopping early, and you can even order it from our Amazon storefront and ship it directly to whoever you're gifting it to. But it's available on those platforms, Amazon storefront and bookstores and other websites that I mentioned. But I want to take a moment here to look at the storefront just to give you an idea of some other stuff that we have available on there. These are products that we highly recommend. They are things that we use in our daily lives, and it's all organized by category. So it's a lot easier to, you know, shop for the holidays and specifically for things that interest you, particular categories. Available right now, many different items on our storefront. If you can see here, 61 items just in women's apparel, fall decor, because right now we're in fall, 26 items, kitchen items, you know, baking specifically, things for around the house, children's toys, even stuff for parties. If you're trying to save money on a party and throwing your own, you know, occasion, you can even buy some cool gadgets here to help you, you know, put on a better party. You know, health and wellness items here, even stuff for Christmas. And there's the book right there. So you can get it from the storefront. You can get it from the bookstores, like I mentioned. But it's available on all these different platforms. It's really easy to find and gift to somebody. Also, I want to show you the apparel shop. And these are some clothing items that we actually produced. So if you're looking to get some cool apparel items, you know, shirts, hoodies, long sleeve, short sleeve, leggings, even accessories, cell phone cases, women's makeup bags, fanny packs, coffee mugs, all different types of stuff, even some, you know, art, all different categories here, apparel, homeware, accessories, drinks, even digital items. It's all on this store, healthybodygoodsoul.com. Anything that pertains to you or somebody that you're looking to get a gift for the holidays. A lot of great designs on here, a lot of cool designs that we actually custom created. Stainless steel water bottles, especially now with the fall and winter. A lot of cool hoodies and long sleeve shirts. This is a really cool one, I think, for women. The original Be Your Soul apparel, that one's actually really popular. People tend to like that. This one's one of my favorites. The free shirt. It's the American flag and it says free and that says not property of the United States government. That one's pretty cool. Got all different types of tank tops, hoodies, long sleeve, short sleeve, tote bags, coffee mugs, even some items for kids, backpacks. So if you're the type that likes to, you know, plan ahead, I would definitely recommend ordering from the Amazon storefront or the apparel shop within the next couple of weeks to get everything in time for the holidays. Use code SAVE15 on the apparel shop to save 15% off everything on the storefront. So order within the next week or two and you'll definitely have everything in time for the holidays. Definitely check out all the links to everything, the Amazon storefront, the book, and the apparel shop in my bio on all my platforms: Rumble, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. But you can also find them in all the show notes for every episode that I post, and get all your orders in time for the holidays. All right, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. It helps the channel continue to grow. And put in the comments things that you would like me to talk about and make videos on for the future, and I will definitely do my best to do that. Stay tuned for the next one.